Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday to you all. And this is your Momentum Monday. I am Coach Williams, Cassandra Williams of Cassandra Williams Enterprise, your life tactician and the founder of Wise Wives Build. And I am coming out here to give you a tool tip, technique, that little shot in your arm, that boost that you're going to need in order to make this week great. Because I believe that we can start this week strong and end even stronger. We're not going to look at today like it's just another manic or, manic Monday. No, it is Momentum Monday. And so we're going to jump right into our conversation for today. I was driving a few weeks ago. This one has been a few weeks in the making. Okay. So you'll give me a little patience this morning as I lay the backdrop for our conversation. Good morning to all of you that are coming in to the broadcast. Okay. So I was driving down the street and I was driving somewhere in Georgia. And I came to this bridge and I was looking at it. And as I began to look at it, I began to see that the road had been redone. But when we got to the bridge portion of it, we had to go down this little dip, go across the bridge, and then we got back up and they had paved on the other side. And I'm like, why didn't they pave the bridge? And that thing just kind of sat with me for a little while, because when I start seeing things like that and noticing things, I'm like, but why? I got questions, right? And so today, that's what we're going to talk about, because sometimes some of us were built to be a bridge. And we're looking at it like the road has been paved. It's so nice. It's so pretty. It's got new lines. It's got all of this. And here we are. Right? Here we are. And so some of us were built to be a bridge. And these are the people that God has handpicked to stand in the gap, to connect what was divided, and to carry the weight of others until they can walk in strength on their own. That's what it is, right? And so I want you to understand, you were meant to carry the weight of others and they can walk in strength on their own. It's not glamorous. Listen, it's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it is necessary. It's necessary. It's a necessary thing. And so today, I want to talk to some of my people that have been called to be that bridge. And I want you to know something. You were built to last. You were built to last. Okay. And so let me get into what is a bridge. Okay. Let's talk about it. What is a bridge? A bridge is something that was built to connect two places that would otherwise stay separated over troubled waters, broken paths, or dangerous gaps, right? So a lot of times you'll see a bridge, like when you're going into New Orleans, most cities have it. Like if you're going over a stream or a lake, they have built a bridge, and that's where they take and they put these pillars down and they build a connection so that you don't have to go around the river. You can go over. Remember that. So you can go over some things. Okay. So when we look at that, what happens when God calls you to be a bridge? Okay. So when God calls you to be a bridge, or you're like a bridge in the earth, you are the person that will stand in the gap, right? He said, I searched for someone that would stand between the porch and the altar, and I found no one. That person that can stand in the gap between heaven and earth, generations and promises, pain and purpose. Pain and purpose. Generations and promises. And so sometimes in ministry, let's use ministry for example. Sometimes in ministry or in business, you have the older generation, right? You know how we have the Gen Zs, we have all of these people, right? We have the millennials, we have all of this. So you have the older generation. I am part of the older generation now, but you have the older generation, and then you have, your younger, your teenagers, your 20-year-olds, those people. But there's a group of people, normally they're around the millennials and things like that, but there's a group of people that links, that bridges these two together, that has their hands into tradition, but can understand the need for more up-to-date strategies and technology and things of that nature, right? These are the people that understand it's good for us to come together in the house of God, but they also understand that we need to have, a outlet for social media for those people that cannot come into the building, right? So they are the bridge between the two schools of thought, because otherwise we're inside fighting. We have that internal fighting. So these people are the bridge, right? They carry the weight of other people's questions, pains, or transition, not forever, but long enough for them to walk across. So these are the people that come into different other people's situations, and they're able to carry the weight. They're able to help shoulder the load. Now, see, the part that I loved about this was long enough for them to walk across. So that doesn't mean that you're supposed to carry it forever. You're supposed to just, a bridge helps you get from here to here. There's a road, there's a bridge, then there's the continuation of the road, okay? Because a road is that flat surface, okay? That road is that predictable, convenient place. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it may be a hill, but it's more it gets you there, right? And it's convenient. It's convenient. A bridge is built where nothing can pass through unless someone dares to stretch across. It's where it should be impossible, but here we are. Somebody is willing to be that disruptor. Somebody is willing to say, choose me, I'll go. Yes, Lord, I'll go. That person that's willing to say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to lay down my life right here, and they can walk across me to get to the other side and not get bitter. God, I'll lock arms with them. I'll help them get to the other side and understand that they're going to walk away. I get it, and so, and then they stay grounded, firm in God, even if it feels like no one sees their sacrifice. Even if people don't understand the cost of your presence, you still do it for Him. You do it because you know that that's what you've been called to do. You still show up because God, we can't, God is not going to, we don't want God to look bad, right? So you show up, and even though nobody's doing what they're supposed to do, you show up and you're like, I'll step in. I'll make sure that the kingdom agenda continues to move forward. And sometimes you feel like you're being taken advantage of. Sometimes you just got to understand, nope, I'm just the bridge. I'm just a bridge. I'm just that person that they're going to get, that God is using right now to get them from this place to that one. And that's it. That's your only job, is to get them from this side to that side. And that's it. Some people walk on the road, but God raises up bridges. And these are people like Naomi and Ruth, Paul and Timothy, the people that can connect different generations. They carry healing across family divides. They provide safe passage from trauma to truth. These are those people. I love that part of what I do, is being able to help people move from trauma, that bad thing that happened to you, to the truth of that's not who I am. And sometimes that's not an easy road, y'all. Sometimes that's a place of impossibility. Sometimes you may have to put in some work, some time to help people get to the other side. And so when you understand a bridge, right? When you understand that it was built to last. It was built to carry. Certain streets, you say, well, you can't go down that street because that street wasn't built like 18 wheelers. That street wasn't built for that kind of weight. Yeah. So there's some people that you're looking at that they weren't built for that kind of weight. They weren't built for the things that you were willing to carry, that you can carry. They can't stretch out over the broken places, right? They don't have that stamina, they don't have that tenacity, they don't have that flexibility that you have to be able to do that. Because one of the things that, as I was studying, because I had to go in and study it, is that the material that they use to make the road is made out of asphalt. It's asphalt, okay? But bridges, the materials that they make bridges out of, they don't just use anything. They build bridges out of the materials that can be able to expand on their own, right? They expand, they have some flexibility in there so that when it's under in the time of storms and heavy winds and things like that, there's a little bit of movement there. It's not so rigid, so that the bridge is built to last. It's built to endure the elements. It's built to endure heat. It's built to endure the rain and the storms and all of the things. It's built to endure that. And then they have to do maintenance on it, right? So when you understand this, that whenever they do lay the asphalt, they lay the asphalt on either side of the bridge. Because you can't fake strength. When those when those bridges are built to last, and they use those polymers, they use those things, and they go in and they look at it, because see, the asphalt will cover up and add more on top of the bridge than what's needed. So guess what? It doesn't need that asphalt. Some of them have it, but most of them do not. That when you go to your go drive through. Next time you're driving up, because you're gonna remember this message. The next time you drive to a bridge, you're gonna notice that there's a road, then there's the bridge, and the materials are different. And especially if you live in a town where it'll even be where you'll have 2 or 3 lanes and you'll come into a 1-lane bridge. Why? They didn't tear that bridge down and rebuild it. They built everything and adjusted everything around the bridge. Somebody need to hear that. Everything is adjusting around you because you are the bridge. And you're like, God, what about me? He said, you are built for this. You are built to last. It's a God doesn't use asphalt temporary fixes on his bridges. He builds them with tested faith, seasoned character, and a holy surrender. A holy surrender to say, yes, Lord. And so I just encourage you today, do not get weary in your well-doing, for in due season, you shall reap. In due season, there's going to be some maintenance. In due season, he's going to come and see about you, and he's going to take care of all of those little nooks and crannies and things and be like, I got you, and build you up. But you got to understand your purpose and the plan over your life, that you were built to be the bridge and you were built to last. Okay. So my final thought and affirmation for today is, you may not feel like much, but if God is using you to connect, to heal, and to lead, you are the bridge. You are not the destination. You're not the storm. You're the way through the darkness. You're the way over the trauma. You are the person that has been called to be the bridge. So sit in this on today. All right, here we go. You ready? I am not a convenience. Repeat it after me. I am not a convenience. I was built to last, not collapse under pressure. By God's strength, I am the bridge that carries the truth, healing, and legacy to where? To the next generation. I am the bridge. Say that with me again. By God's strength. Don't forget that part. By God's strength, not your strength, but by God's strength, I am the bridge that carries truth, healing, and legacy to the next generation. Amen. So thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. I have been studying this. It's so interesting to me now because sometimes I was like, God, I don't understand. Now I get it. Sometimes I have had to be the bridge, and it wasn't a comfortable place, but it was a necessary one. So just understand, if you've been called to be the bridge, that you are built to last. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I am Coach Williams, Cassandra Williams of Cassandra Williams Enterprise. I am a certified professional life and empowerment coach, your life tactician. And what I do is I help you use biblical principles and practical strategies in order to build the life of your dreams and then be able to live in that place unapologetically without your mask. Okay. And so if you want to connect with me, please go to www.thecassandrawilliams.com. You can find out everything that there is that we have going on. We have just released 2 new books. One more is on the way. The children's book will start going out this week. I had a few little things that I wanted to get for the girls. So I'm waiting for those things to come in. But you still have an opportunity to get Lead Anyway, Layla, for our little disruptors, or even our more seasoned disruptors. It's an amazing, amazing story of how we can overcome those things that the world would look like as a setback. But it's a setup for God, from God, for us to flourish and to thrive in this season. And he says, I want you to begin to lead from that place instead of hiding it. Lead from it. That thing that the enemy uses, right? That thing that he'd be like, you know, you can't show up because of this. God is saying, I want you to show up because of this. Okay. So that is where we are. So there's a coloring book out there on my site. It is celebrating, it's called Divine by Design, celebrating professional women of color, showing like different occupations. I remember as a little girl sitting and coloring and dreaming of being what I was seeing. And so I created a coloring book that kind of gets us out of the norm of what we should be, could be, and helps us begin to dream again, because with God, all things are possible. We're not going to dream small. All things are possible. So go to www.thecassandrawilliams.com, go to the Victory Bookstore, and all of those items are on the website. Lead with the Limp will be up very, very soon. And that's a Disruptor's Guide to Authentic Leadership. It will be up for pre-order very, very soon. Okay. So I love you all. Have an amazing day. This has been your Momentum Monday, and you were built to last. If you're the bridge, you were built to last. That's all I want you to know today. All right. So have an amazing day. This room, look, I'm acting like I'm on Clubhouse. This room will be closing. I will see you guys next week. Next Monday for another Momentum Monday. Speaking of Clubhouse, we are preparing for our flow workshop on this Wednesday and Thursday. So I will not be on Clubhouse tomorrow, which is Tuesday morning. Normally I'm there Tuesday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this Tuesday, July 15th, I will not be on Clubhouse. We will be preparing for the flow workshop, which will be on Wednesday and Thursday evening. All right. Love you all. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.